Hey! Hi guys, how you doing? This is LaQueen, LaQueen Bottom here at Harvard University. I'm here at Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm on the campus right now of Harvard University. Just checking. Check with me. Check with me. My media's good. Okay. All right. So I'm here on the campus of Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts, in response to the COVID-19 coronavirus epidemic. Just touch base with you guys. So far, I'm kind of going through the college graduate blues, broke, homeless, and destitute. So. I did a video yesterday on my response to my mental health and struggling and only having right now about 93 cents in my bank account. But I am trying my very best to do what I can and get together. And I've got a couple of job leads already about places that are hiring and people in the city here in Boston. There's like over 50, 100 different hospitals here in the city of Boston. So there's plenty of different opportunities here in the Boston area for me to be able to work and people to use my services. I already got a couple leads already from people here in the city that are available looking for basic CNAs and medical assistants. So that's awesome. And I actually heard a couple weeks ago about, I think it was this week, that they were actually having a sign-on bonus for certified nursing assistants, and we're having a $5,000 sign-on bonus for a couple of nursing homes here in the Boston area just to hire CNAs. So that's a good thing about the situation. Even though the government shut down, even though there's a lot of facilities, government facilities, even the legal justice system is shut down, there is an upbringing with the unemployment. The unemployment rate is going down as well. It just depends on what level of field you're working in, whether you're working in basic food, the service industry, or if you're working with the medical technology industry. It's kind of like a balance of government, like a balance. A little bit of what what kind of what are you looking for exactly, what do you need to be done. I need a job, I need a place to live, or I'm struggling, I have a family of four, how do I meet my life on a fixed income, or per se, what do you do if you're a medical personnel, or if you're in the technology field and you have services that the public needs in order to help you and others out, especially during a global epidemic like this. So say for instance, I'm in the medical field, I'm a registered nurse, I'm a PCC tech, I'm a specialist that works and have this particular equipment in radiology, and I can work in anywhere around the world, but people need my services. During times like these, when the government shut down or when there's a natural disaster going around the world, people are looking for your services. So somehow you just have to let people know that you're available for help. You have to put an ad on Craigslist, or you have to go on Indeed, or you have to go on Craigslist to let people know that yes, I have services. I'm offering my services up to help out the global system in need, because there's plenty of organizations that are out there with food, shelters, assistance, clothing, food and water, which is great, which is amazing for myself also to be a recipient of these organizations out there. But still, at the very same time, you need to let people know any kind of service. Oh, I can cook food. Oh, I can make pancakes. Oh, I can make cornbread. Or I can make hand warmers. I can make mittens. I can make gloves. I can make blankets. Any kind of service that you need. It doesn't have to be a professional service where you're registered. You're registered with the board of health or whatever. It can just be any kind of service that you need, that you have to offer people. Say for instance, I have a lawn cleaning business, or I have a home health care business where I hire people and I run my own business where I help out elderly people who are on a fixed income, but I run my own business to help volunteer services for elderly people who are living alone and who don't have any family members. So I offer cleaning services, I offer home health care services, and there are millions and millions of people around the world that do not use um, government assistance. They have their own services out there, their own home businesses, own individual home businesses out there to let people, and people know they have services. But during times like these, the most reliant source of information that people go to is it the TV, the media, or their local government officials, their mayors, their city council people, their governors, their congressmen, their assembly people, their representatives. That's the first thing they go to. What they see on TV, what they hear on the radio, that's the first thing they go to. But if someone in your neighborhood has services, If you're in need of something and your next door neighbor has the services that you need, then all you have to do, instead of just watching on TV or calling a whole bunch of people on the phone, all you have to do is just go right next door and tell your neighbor, hey, I'm in need of something. Can you help me out? Or you have a business. I would like some of your services. Or um, I don't have a job. I just lost my job. I worked with the government over 40 years. I just lost my job. Can you help me out? Well, your next door neighbor has a home business and he has a part-time business, but his business is such high demand. It may not be in the field that you're in. Your next door neighbor may have a construction business, or he may have a cleaning business, or he may have a painting business, or he may have an individual side handling business. But you're right now, you're on a fixed income, and your next door neighbor he's in a high demand, which is construction business, or with his painting business, or with his lawn mowing business, or with your next door neighbor's home health care business, or with their word processing business, and they need help. You can let them know that I can be of help to you. Can you still help me? Pay me with to help to work in your company, to work in your business. And that's how it works during times like these, because people, a lot of the government is being shut down. But just because the government, the big top facilities, the banks are still open, just because the government is shut down, it does not mean that people do not need each other to help each other out. So that's usually how it works. You have to ask people around, ask around, ask around, ask around. Hey, can you give me a hand? Hey, do you have a business that I can work in? Hey, can you do this? Can you do this? Oh, I could be there. I could be in this city, or I could be in this city, or I could do this, or I could do that. Or you know what? I've been living in my home. My home is about to go in mortgage, but you have a cousin that works in about 30 minutes from your home, and he needs help in his business, and your home's about to go in foreclosure. What would you do? Would you rather wait for your unemployment check to come in, or would you rather go work in your cousin's business at the same time while waiting for the unemployment check? So that's how it works at times like these. You gotta ask around. You gotta keep your hands busy. You gotta function. You gotta multi function during times like these. So I know I'm kind of going around about because I'm also going through this myself personally. And here at Harvard, here at such a great institution, right in front of me is a church. This is the one of the foundation churches here at Harvard University. This school right here, it was founded in the early 1700s, 1760, right before the Declaration of Independence was signed in 1776 by President George Washington. So a school like this at Harvard University, one of the 13 original colonies, this school was not built in a day. You have to understand that a school like this was. You guys with me? Okay, someone's great. Okay, so a school like this was not built in just one day. Harvard University, it wasn't built in a day. It wasn't built in a week. It wasn't built in a month or a couple years. It took time and time. It took decades and decades and decades of people coming in and out, and president after president after president after president after president. It took people crying. It took people being happy. It took people falling down on their knees. It took people getting back up and down, up and down, up and down, in order to have this institution be one of the greatest institutions that it is today. So you have people rise and you have people fall. We have one of our greatest presidents coming from this university, President Barack Obama. So there's times that people are up and there's times that people are down, but they still come to this institution to learn, to get resources, to get not just for the college degree, but it's the connections. It's the connections that this institution has, not just when the days are great, not just when the times are good, not just when it's getting a lot of endowment grants, but when the times are worse, when the times are hardest, when the country is in a Great Depression, when the country is going through little wind. Good. Okay. So at times like this, when a country is going through a World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, even 9/11, you still have a school like this, an educational institution like this. And I'm not trying to dig on Howard University in Washington D.C. Shout out to Howard Bison. But you have schools like this that are still standing above ground and are still in working academic, that are still at the top high echelon of their endowment grants, of their alumni that have graduated from the institution, that make it what it is. It's not just the people that come into the doors every single day, or come into the gates every single day. It's the alumni, it's the people, it's everything that the school has been through to make it what it is today. And that's why it's still standing. It's not just because it's a great white school. It's not a white school. There's plenty of people all around the world that come to this educational institute. There's so many immigrants from all around. I'm sure that this school currently is about 75% immigrants. Literally, swear to God. I'm sure that this school is right now at least 75% immigrants and the rest is Americans because people they don't understand it. They think, okay, I'm in America. I have the greatest American president. I'm not trying to dig on President Commander in Chief Trump, but this is America. Speak English only, please. This is the greatest country. Make America great again. Well, America was already great. It doesn't mean it need to be great again. We just need to continue to work on the progress that we've already made. So that's why Obama said forward, and I'm always trying to go forward into our progress and not trying to make anything out of nothing. And so during times like these, we can't make something. You can't make something out of nothing. You always got to put your 2 cents in, and you can't make a dollar out of no sense. You got to make one cent after another cent after one penny, 10 pennies, 50 pennies, and then you got 100 pennies to make $1. And so when you have a current administration in office that people currently support him and support his policies, it's still difficult to be at an institution like this, which is still very both on the terms very liberal but also conservative. So you have a lot of liberal people coming into this institution, but at the same time, Harvard is still predominantly conservative, very predominantly conservative. And so times and times like these, when we have a government a conservative government in office, and you have a conservative our governors, conservative leaders that are running the wheels, running the banks, running the system, and it's just hard for people to figure out where's my next check going to come from. My kids' student loans are coming in; they're about to be due. They don't get a grace period. What do I do? Am I going to foreclose on my mortgage? How am I going to give food to pay my kids, to take care of my 4 kids, to take care of my 5, 6 kids? I'm Muslim. What do I do? It's Ramadan. I'm supposed to celebrate my holiday in peace. I need time for myself, but at the same time, I gotta work. I gotta provide for my family. But it's a holy month. It's a holy season of peace, and so there's so many, and it's Easter season, and their churches are not in functioning, but it's still Easter. So how are people supposed to celebrate Easter, the resurrection, at the same time, and the Passover? So how are people supposed to function as a government, as a society, as a republic, when the government is completely shut down? And that's why I'm kind of running around the mill. That's why I'm kind of running around the mill a little bit, because during times like these, when the government is in a crisis, and this is not the first time that it has happened, but when we went through the American Revolution, when we went through the World War I, World War II against Hitler, we went through Vietnam, we went through the Cold War, we went through all these battles against all our foreign enemies, all our different countries that were trying to attack America and attack the foundations of our institute, of our country, for leadership, for freedom, for equality, not just for Americans, but for immigrants and people all around the world who want to come to this country and get our resources and uplift themselves and their families. It's hard for us to believe in a leader who really truly respects us as a people, who really wants the best for us. And that's why I love institutions like this, Harvard as well as Howard University, that still needs a lot of funding and endowment grants. And I try to continually support our HBCUs as well: Spelman, Harvard, Clark Atlanta, Morehouse. God, there's Hampton University, and Atlanta, P&G. I mean, there A&G. God, Grambling University. There's so many HBCUs out there that need just as much as funding and endowment grants as such an institution like this that Harvard University does. Now, I'm just trying to go back a little bit forward. This school was founded at the very beginnings of our country, of the very foundations of our country, from the late 1600s to the early 1700s, before the Declaration of Independence was signed by our founding presidents against a British monarchy who wanted to enslave us and still keep us under the chains under the British monarchy. Now, if a school like this was established before our first American Revolution from the late 1600s, imagine how strong of an institution this is. Now, imagine that this institution right here on these grounds that we lay is so strong. That means number one, it does not need a lot of endowment grants from its alumni. Okay, number one, it does not need a lot of support from its alumni because it's already a strong institution as itself. Number one, it doesn't need a lot of support from its alumni. Number two, because it's from a long time ago, from our founding presidents, just by the legacy of our founding presidents, George Washington, John Adams, um, John Quincy Adams, all these the founding fathers of our organization, right there, that can say that Harvard University is the only school that Americans can go to. And it could actually be like that. They could actually establish Harvard University satellites in every single state of the United States and say Harvard University is the only school that Americans can go to just because of that. And I'm just putting it out there because of the strength of this institution, just because of the power. There's so much power, there's so much precedence in this institution that this institution by itself could do whatever it wants to all around the world. It doesn't have to say anything to itself or to anybody around the world. It could do whatever it wants to just by the legacy of this institution. I'm just putting it out there like that. Because it could just say there has to be only satellite campuses in every single American state, and this is the only school that Americans can go to because of the legacy that this school. But it doesn't it gives college students as well as other students the freedom and the eligibility to come to this institution in Boston, Massachusetts, and to have the freedom to say, if you want to come to our school, you can come to our school, but you have to qualify to be in our regimen, our program regimen. You have to meet our recommendations, you have to meet our credentials, you have to meet our requirements to become a student of this high quality education. And it doesn't just apply to Harvard University, our MIT, our Boston College. It applies to every single time you are in a such strong foundational leadership campus institution like this. And people, they don't understand it. They think, oh, it's Harvard University, oh, the rich people go here. Yeah, the rich people go here. But there's schools all around the world like this that have the founding precedents of America that people, they don't understand. This school right here, Harvard University, was founded in the early 1700s. There was Howard University in Washington D.C. that was founded. There's also schools, Yale University. There's also schools all around America that was founded before the American Revolution. And that right there, the precedence, that means that school has high top caliber students. They want to come in here, get the history lessons, get the top professors of the whole entire world, and come here and learn and use the resources, use connections at this institution to take it back home for them, and to work in whatever kind of field they want to in their hometowns as around the world. And they will only have that college degree. They will have those connections not just from the school, the name of the diploma, but from the professors, from their classmates, from the cafeteria lady, from the lawnmower person, whoever they meet. They will have those connections and say, I went to the school, so you will have to hire me for this job. You will have to do, and if not, I can connect you with somebody that can be of a resource to you in order to qualify me for your job. So say for instance, you're applying for a job as a college graduate, and you graduate from a school, an institution like this, Harvard University, and you're one of the top 3 candidates for a top consulting position in New York City or in London or in Paris, and you graduated from an institution like this at Harvard University, and your employer has an interview question for you, saying, which is a normal interview question. He says, what can you do for my corporation? What can you do for my company? Well, sir, I could do a lot of things for your company, but right now in times like these, I can meet the need that your company may lack. I could be of resources to you that your company may lack. I graduated from one of the top high credential schools of the United States, and you may not know how many resources I am available as a candidate that can meet not only your company with what's going through right now, but the resources and the connections that I have just for being a graduate of a school like this. I can help you meet any connections all around the world. You just ask me, sir, and I'll get it done. And that is what an employer is looking for. All around the world, that's what an employer is looking for. Whatever you need, sir, I can get it done. Or I can connect you to somebody who can get it done, sir. And that's why I want you to hire me for your company. That is what employers are looking for, and that's why you have such strong foundational leadership qualities of schools like this. That's why it's very important for high school students, for high school graduates, from students all around the world who want to apply to schools like these, because it's very important to choose where you graduate from school, from college, because you don't want to waste your time and your energy and your money on hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, only to waste it in 4 years and to have to repay it back during times of distress like this, when the government is going through shutdowns and you don't have any connections. You don't know anybody in your school. You just went to a school for 4 years just to get a diploma meal or get a trade certificate. You didn't know anybody, but you just went to school just to get a degree, and that's what I'm going through right now. That is exactly what I'm going through right now. So let me put my jacket on because it's a little cold. Good 20 minutes. And that's why, I'm very happy to be here and at schools like at campus life right now, because it's very quiet. The government's going through a shutdown. People are, God, it's all in the newspaper. People are losing mortgages, closing on mortgages in their house, and they even say people are dying. And just now they announced in the news that Senator Bernie Sanders just dropped out of the presidential election race. Him and Joe Biden. And they're even postponing the elections, the election primaries. So what is the government going to do about it? What do you do when you're at your worst needs? You have to keep asking people, keep asking. That's how it works. That's how it works during times like these. You have to continue to ask people and continue to be of need. Let people know I have a service. Whatever service you need, let me know. And you may not be able to pay me right here this week, but if you let me know that you'll be able to pay me in the future, I can get it done right here and there. And at times like these, that's how the bartering system works. You barter. Somebody has something that you need, and you have a service that they need you can provide for them. That's how that bartering service works right now. That bartering system. You ask, they give. You provide a service, they use your service. That's how bartering systems work. It may not involve any kind of cash tendering. It may not involve a cash transaction or a tender transaction. But whatever kind of service that you have, somebody could be available and be of assistance to you at that time of need. And so, like I said before, this school, it wasn't built in a day. It was not built in a day or a week or a month or even a year. This school was built decades and decades and decades, time and time again. This school was built. It's one of the founding legacies of America. This school right here, as well as Howard University, one of the first predominantly black institutions of the United States. Now, what would I say when I graduated from Eastern Hills back in 2003? Did I want to go? I got an application to apply to Harvard, as well as to apply to Howard University. I chose Howard University just for the site as well as for the connections. But you know what? I applied to a lot of schools too, as well. TCU, UTA. I applied to a lot of schools. SMU. But you know what? I'm still here, and I'm glad to be here 20 years later. I'm glad to be here at this great institution. And maybe God is giving me another chance to finish on what He wanted me to finish. It may not be Harvard University. It could be MIT or Boston College or any other school, or even in London, Paris, Germany, Africa, South America, Spain. It may be any kind of country that God has given me the grace in order to say, if I can get you through this troubled time, then I can move you on to your future. That's good. God is saying, if I can get you through this troubled time, then I can move you on towards your future. So I know He has a lot of things in store for me. And Harvard University is a gorgeous, predominantly beautiful institution, but it wasn't built in a day. And you have to understand like this, when the government is going through a shutdown, people think, oh, it just happened overnight. No, it didn't happen overnight. Martial law just doesn't happen overnight. Martial law doesn't happen overnight. It takes time again and again for people to actually know and to understand why and when and how and what's going on, what's functioning, and what do I need to do? How do I prepare my family for times and things like this in motion? What do I need to do? How do I prepare myself? How do I be of need to myself as well as to other people? And there's a lot of things to be done. You know, it's a beautiful campus. It's gorgeous, and we still have a lot to do. We still have a lot to process and to be of service to ourselves as to others in need. And you know what? It won't happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. It takes time. Change takes time. I wish that Obama put that. Change takes time. Change is good. Change is right. Change is what we believe in. But at the same time, you have to understand that change takes time. Something like this doesn't happen overnight. You have to go forward. In order to go forward, it has to take time in order to go forward in what we want to do. So yes, change is what we believe in. Yes, change is good. Yes, we have to go forward, but change takes time. It takes time. You can't just elect a president into office overnight. You can't just have an election for. I mean, you can have an election overnight, but you can't just elect somebody into office overnight. Let the public know overnight. Oh, in 24 hours we'll have a new president. That's not how it works. You have to follow the process. You have to follow due process, legislation. You have to do what you need to do in order to get things done. It doesn't happen overnight. Trump wasn't elected to office overnight. Obama wasn't elected to office overnight. Clinton, Bush. Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, Nixon, JFK, LBJ. These men weren't elected into office overnight. It took them time and time and time again to actually process what they wanted to do, to process their plans for office, to process their plans, their policies that they wanted to be in the government in order to take place. It's a beautiful, 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 beautiful campus. It's beautiful. So it takes time for things to go into function in order for things to process. It's a beautiful, beautiful campus, beautiful university. I see a man over there kissing his daughter. So, God is good, but he didn't build the world in a day. It took 7 days for God to build the world, and on the 7th day he rested. On the 7th day God rested. On the 7th day, on the Sabbath he rested and called it a day. I'm tired of building. I'm tired of creating the world. I need a break for myself. It says so in the Bible. So if it says so in the Word of God, then let it be so. Let it be so for the rest of the world. But at the same time, just because the government is on a break, just because the government is shut down, it does not mean that people have to stop functioning and have to stop. And the government, the people as a whole, doesn't have to stop doing what they've already been doing. Just because you close down our jobs, just because you close down our offices, just because you close down our social services, it does not mean that we have to stop doing stop believing in and what we're believing in as a people. So if the social services shut down in our community, we come together as a whole community and we create our own social services. We create our organizations to help and provide social services for our community. If we shut down our libraries, we create free libraries in the community so people can go and get a book when they need a book. If we shut down our grocery stores, we create gardens, we create food pantries, we create food banks in order for people to come in and get the services that they need. So just because they shut down one door, there's always other doors. There's always windows that we can break through, doors that we can break through in order to get through. We don't have to climb through a window. We don't have to climb through a door. We break that door. We break that window. That's how governments work. You don't climb through a crack. You don't try to slide in through a crack. You break that crack. You break that door in order to get a new government, in order to establish a new president, a new country, a revolution. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. You have to break down systems. You have to break down governments. You have to break down systems that have been set up time and time and years and years and decades and centuries to try to maneuver some kind of control system. And it doesn't even have to be communism. It could be any kind of control maneuver that high presided people try to enforce on a people or a group of people or a community or a country in order to get some kind of policy done that they want to try to predicate against the people. So it takes time. It takes time, and it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. And like I said before, I'll say it one more time before I go ahead and try to close this video. Harvard University was not built in a day. Harvard University was not built in a day. It wasn't built in a day. It wasn't built in a week, a year, or even a month, or even a year. It took time and time and time and time to build this institution, this campus of campuses, these libraries of libraries, these schools of schools, into what it is today. It took time, it took years, it took decades for people to know, to establish this as one of the founding fathers, founding academia schools that people come here to, as well as get the educational resources that they need. You have the Harvard Law Journal, you have the Harvard Law Review, you have the Harvard Medical School Review, the Harvard Medical Journal, which is academic journals, academic legacies, research upon research, top of the world, that people come here to work and to learn and to live. And it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and time. It takes time and time and time to establish this institution into what it is today. And just because the government is going through a shutdown, it won't happen overnight. It has to take somebody making a stand and saying something that you know what, I'm gonna cry. Yes, I'm gonna cry over it, because I'm gonna cry because I'm just doing this by myself, or I'm actually gonna talk to somebody else who can actually help me through my situation, through being a broke college graduate, through having a family on my own, through losing my job, through having mortgage problems, losing my job. I have to talk to somebody about it. I have to talk to somebody who's been through what I do, or my next door neighbor, or my church, or my pastor, or my friend. Get their phone number, get their email, and talk to them. Maybe they'll help me process of what I went through. So, again, I have a lot to learn, and COVID-19, you know, it's still going on, but the people have to come together and do what they have to do. Exactly. And you know what? Shout out to Bernie Sanders, who of course, you know, thankful for his service to our country and continuing to work as his leadership needs our need and our representation in government. So shout out to Bernie Sanders as well. And shout out to the governors and the leaders are out there who are continually, even in the community, the food service pantries, the governments, the community leaders, the church, the pastors, all the organizations out there who have very limited funds, the gospel missions all around the United States and all around the world, in Los Angeles and San Francisco, in New York City, and in New York State, in Chicago, in Texas, the gospel missions of America, as well as the Salvation Army of America, the American Red Cross International. Thank God for these organizations and these charities, these nonprofit charities who come together in times like these to help out a nation when it's needed the most. So shout out to all the organizations and charities that I have been a recipient of. And it's not just one city after another city. It takes time for these organizations, again, like myself, to rebuild, to get back to the high caliber that we need. And at the same time, they still need assistance. They still need funds and donations as well. So shout out again to all my friends and family back home in Texas. This is LaQueen Battle. I'm a certified medical assistant. I still have a lot to learn. So I'm going to go ahead and do a preview of this video, as well as I love you guys. Continue to keep me in your thoughts and prayers as I'm here in Boston and Albany and New York State and on the East Coast and West Coast. Get my passport, pretty much do whatever I can to keep my head up and to survive. And you know what? I'm going to cry today. I'm going to cry tomorrow. I cried yesterday. I cried the day before. I'm going to cry every single day until I get up in my head that I'm a college graduate, and I'm going to function and I'm going to do the very best that I can do in order to survive and to make it and take care of myself as well as my family. And faith takes time. Are you okay, honey? Okay, faith takes time. Faith without works is dead. Faith without works is dead. So this is LaQueen Terry Battle. I'll go ahead and do another preview of this video. Thank you so much to Harvard University on a day like this, on a Wednesday morning, for letting me host my YouTube videos and all the campus services here at Harvard University in Boston, Massachusetts. So shout out to all my friends and family, my little brother LaKeen Jemiah Harris, who probably hates it. I always keep mentioning his name. He's currently serving in the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! And also to my cousins, out of my cousins who I've probably met once or twice, of the sons of Mandy Clay. I have a cousin who's also in the United States Marine Corps. Hoorah! and I have another cousin who's also in the United States Navy, as well as to my aunt Darlene Mercer, who currently served in the United States Army, my uncle Manzi Clay, who served in the United States National Guard. I have my grandfather who served in the United States Army, and Jake Battle, and also and shout out to my own unit down south in Seagoville, Texas, and Little Rock, Arkansas, 94 General Combat Medical Hospital Unit, currently serving and giving their services to our nation during the time like these. So shout out to all my commanders, all my medical commanders. This is not ROTC. This is the real thing. This is real Army. This is real Army. This is real Army tents. These are real Army trucks. So shout out to my military family back home down south in Little Rock, Arkansas, and Seagoville, Texas, outside of Fort Hood. This LaQueen Terry battle, LaQueen Arlene battle. Shout out from Harvard University here in Boston, Massachusetts. I love you guys. Please continue to keep your thoughts and prayers. I am trying to get through a lot of funny right now. Right now it's about 1 o'clock, 12:30, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. 2:30ish, whatever, I don't know. Here in Boston, Massachusetts, I still have a lot to do, and every single day I will cry. I will have a patootie too. I just have to work on my connections and getting myself together. Keep me in your peace. God is love. Shout out to you. Happy Easter, happy Passover, as well as happy Ramadan during the season of peace and love. Shout out to you guys. May many blessings be upon you and your family. Bye.